Welcome to Justified Riches Podcast. Justified Riches is a financial literacy podcast dedicated to empowering individuals with the knowledge and tools to achieve financial independence and professional success. Each episode bridges the gap between ambition and achievement by bringing together a seasoned mentor and an eager mentee for transformative conversations.
Frederick Douglass once said, "It's easier to build strong children than it is to repair broken men." And our mission here at Justified Riches is to create a stronger generation of youth through financial literacy.
I'm your host, Rich Farris, aka Positivity Pusher.
And I'm your other host, Justin, aka Stock Knock Life.
And together we hope that you enjoy the show, take notes, and sit down and relax.
Enjoy the episode.
Okay, so we are here for a breakout session of Justified Riches Podcast, and I am your co-host, Richie Tavares, aka Positivity Pusher.
And I'm Justin Aruz, aka Stock Knock Life.
And we're doing a current breakout session right here just to speak to the voice of the people. You know, with AI and all these artificial things going on, it's good to connect with a good old-fashioned human being, especially for some market data. Want to get market data right now on the youth. Please, to our to our young person here, please introduce yourself to the crowd and what you do, what you're about.
Hello, my name is Christian Tavares. I'm currently working somewhat of 3 jobs right now. I took a little break off of school because I realized it's not exactly what I want yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who you want to shout out? I know you work at a cool local small business.
I work at a nice local business, small business, a pizzeria called Joey's. It's right off of Sunrise on Huntington Avenue. If you ever see it, it's really good. It's get you good food for a cheap price, so it's really nice. Really good people there.
Thank you. And I think they went through like a cool rebranding too, right? With their name.
Yeah, so it's no longer. Well, we're trying to get the name. It's called AP Pizza now. They switched over business owners. It's a cool story. Check it out.
Excellent.
So I have a question for you. How old are you now, Christian?
I'm
20?
I'm currently 18.
18. All right. So at 18, I don't know about you, Richie, but I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life at the age of 18. And I feel like it's that way for most boys, young men, compared to I feel like girls, young women, they kind of know what they want to do, but for young men, it takes them a little bit longer. What y'all think about that?
You know, just from personal experience, it could happen. I think for myself, you know, you want all these different things at my age. I think I had like 7 jobs within a year period, like, you know, where the family starts to joke on you. But what happens is what I was really doing at that time was I was literally doing completely different jobs. So one day I was like, oh, I want to work for American Airlines. Woo, you get the flight discount. Whoop, whoop. Okay, you have to work at 6 in the morning every day. Actually, 4 in the morning you have to get up. And you usually only have off like Saturday. Actually, you don't get off Saturday and Sunday. Like the rest of the world, you'll get off like weird days like Thursday or Friday. So did that for a little bit. I was like, not for me. Maybe I like a call center. So I was in a call center. Okay, you don't deal with people in front of you. People can't like spit in your face or scream at you. All of a sudden I find out I'm falling asleep at the chair. It was kind of like boring. So, you know, it's important, I think, like you were saying, not knowing what to do is not the issue. What happens is, you know, we get stagnant or we kind of get frozen and we forget like how quick a month will pass away. And we get in the situation where instead of just taking action on something, we stay put. Because last thing, and I'll pass it over to Christian, it's psychologically proven, and if you speak to like special forces or individuals that are in like these high intensity stakes, oftentimes action versus inaction will always trump inaction. So even the wrong action, imagine that, right? As long as nobody's life is at stake, right? Like for the audience, please. But even incorrect action will still supersede inaction. So that's just kind of like my thoughts. So I think a lot of individuals are going through that. So what do you think, Christian, are some of the other challenges that young people are dealing with, whether it's work, is AI on your mind at all?
Well, I can agree with you guys as to right now. Now that I have absolutely no clue what I want to do like in the future, but like, you know, I've always been like, I always go with the flow. right? Go where the wind takes me. But towards this age, you sort of have to have you really do have to have a plan. I'd say one of the struggles for people my age is like you really can't find a job anywhere. Only way I got any of my jobs was through mutual connections, and I've tried many jobs. Before that, trying to apply all these jobs, they want you to have experience, but how can you get experience if you can't get the job? It just it really sucks trying to find a job. And you really only way you can get a job is like through mutuals. That's honestly what I believe. I spent 3 years looking for jobs and nothing came up until I had mutuals. So that's definitely a hard challenge.
Mm, absolutely.
Also, I believe like mentorship is very important,
Yes.
right? And I feel like that's something like we're trying to accomplish here at Justified Riches.
Mhm.
Making sure that the youth is like just very knowledgeable about the different career paths they can choose, what's accessible to them, how to go about it, how do I fill out a job application, how do I get my name out there. And then many youth don't know that at the age of 16, they can have a LinkedIn profile.
Ah.
A lot of these youth, they'll have an Instagram or Twitter before, you know, they have an actual LinkedIn.
Mm.
So getting your name out there is very important, making sure you know how to go about applying for certain jobs that you want to get.
Absolutely. And this is, great topic. And this was kind of like extemporaneous where we're just talking about what's going on. But yes, like for others that are going out there, whether it's young people, adults are going through the same thing. So Justin brought up like some excellent points. Number one, get out there, whatever it is, right? Statistically, you got to be in it to win it, as they like to say, like at home, unless you're like doing things that are going to like propel you towards finding that career. mm, then also you want to be a part of a community. So oftentimes, for instance, you can be a part of a not-for-profit initiative. Maybe there's something in your community, something that you're passionate about. That right there, as Christian said, that's one of your potential referral networks. And guess what? You're doing good things. And what's really interesting too is that you really don't meet mean people like in the not-for-profit volunteer, right? Because grouchy mean people don't usually go to volunteer their time on a Saturday like at a soup kitchen. It's usually individuals who want to do good. So that's an excellent place. Also, too, like Justin said, LinkedIn. You want to be conscious about what you're posting as well, and put out to your network something that you're passionate about. One of the things I know I try to instill with my kids is creation over consumption, right? So we're in kind of like the consumption economy, social media, everything is like vying for our attention for us to consume it. And what you find though is that as human beings, we have like this innate, insane desire to create. How do you think like big cities were ever built? Is because we have this just driving force to want to create. And oftentimes we're like feel disconnected because we're not creating. So if you're home and you don't know what to do and you don't know what work, find something that you're passionate about, something you can create, and just share it with someone. Because sometimes in creating, all of a sudden you find out some of your passions and you can share that with others. So those are kind of just some tips right there for some of the young people figuring out like, all right, what do I do in this job market? How do I meet people? And like you said, networking is one of the biggest things.
Right, networking, big key word. I know you mentioned that you had 3 jobs, right? So that's 3 paychecks. So how we spending those paychecks?
Spending.
Or saving.
I'd say I'm very on and off. I'd definitely like to save more. I actually bought a few books off the TikTok shop, yes, but they're still good books. And I also have a book from a previous podcast, Rich Dad Poor Dad, which I would also like to read during my free time. But I just want to learn how to manage my money better. When you see that paycheck, your face lights up. Especially like at my young self, I had to take advantage of this, but I have much less responsibilities, much less that I have to pay for. So what I did, I blew my first. I don't recommend this, but I blew my first ban on just getting clothes, which I call like the starter pack. But after that, I I like to just start to save up. Manage my money. There's a lot of things that I want to do. I have a car now. I'd like to. Obviously, I have to get it repaired, but I'd either want to make that car look cool or put that money away and save it for a new, much better car. Um, yeah, there's just a lot going on in my mind. I should probably create a to do list, a vision board. I've heard that's a very good thing to do.
Right. So I'm gonna tell you something. You can never, right, blow your paycheck if you pay yourself first. Right. And when I say pay yourself first, that means you set at least like 10 to 20% aside of your paycheck, right, for saving and investing. And then the rest belongs to you. So if you do that, you could never blow your whole paycheck because you're saving and investing.
Yeah, so what I after that, what I have been doing, well, actually, even before that, what I was doing when I like didn't get as much money is I just take like 50% because I'm like, after all this time of not having a job and not having money, how I was still living life. You know what I'm saying? There's obviously a few stuff that I couldn't do or couldn't buy, but I was still perfectly fine. So if I take that mindset into now when I am making money, then I'll have more money than I really need.
Right.
Absolutely. And one of the things too, in terms of talking about money or funds in general, this is really, I find, too, an unprecedented time that's rough for the young people. I'd say like 50 years ago, you can kind of like aim at one target and like you knew you'd be good, right? Like, all right, hey, I get that one job. I keep that job for like 30, 40 years. I'm super solid. It's stable. And now with the way the world's changing every single day and what they're saying with AI in the next year and how things are going to be different, it's a totally different world. So in terms of money, I think the biggest thing, and one of the things Justin, my co-host, is always talking about, think about ways to like make some money. And I'm not saying chase money because chasing money is super different than finding your passion, kind of working on that, making sure that you establish insane value with whatever you offer, and then making money off of that, right? So it's really now a time where it's about figuring out multiple streams of income. And again, if the audience just left with like one thing, create over consume, right? Consuming, there's nothing wrong with consuming. It's very, very easy, but let's make it a point. And creating doesn't have to be on social media. Creating could be like writing in a book. Creating could be like poetry. We have a part of the team that is like off the camera right now as part of the Nam Studios team that is one of the most creative people I know. So one day maybe we'll have her talking about her creative outlets, but really figuring out how to leverage those creative outlets to like earn some kind of revenue off of that. And even Justin talks about whether it's like the trade or there's a lot that we could probably have a breakout episode on how utilizing that saving and making sure that you're earning a greater return off of that, but different incomes.
Right. So I realized, like, growing up, many people have the mindset of always trading your time for money, right? So that's what you're doing now. You got 3 jobs. You got to punch the time clock to make money. But when I started thinking about how can I make money in my sleep, that's the key. Because if you're always trading your time for money, you're going to do that to the day you die, So you have to figure out a way, how can I throw this $100 somewhere and it brings me back $10, $20. So that's the type of mindset,
Yeah,
you want to have.
that's a really good mindset.
So if you're just tuning in, we're talking about, a young person here, or sorry, a young adult, and really what's on their mind financially. As you know, this is a financial literacy podcast, and Justified Riches, the name means we want to get those riches, we want to make that bread, but we want to do it in a justified manner. We want to make sure your hustles are legal and aren't going to come back to bite you in the future. So what we're talking about now is what are some of the other ways to make money maybe that are out there. Is there one or two potentially that you've seen on the internet that maybe we could dispel the myth? Is this sustainable? Is this not? Like, what's some?
It's funny. Online, if you know what you're doing, there's a plethora, like an unlimited amount of ways that you can really make money. You just have to know about what you're doing and know how you go about it. AI is a very powerful tool. We've seen it. You can literally make anything that you want. And if you, I mean, me as a daily consumer, I would consider myself that for now. When I scroll on TikTok, you see all these videos of AI, and they're just funny. You can literally create anything and create an audience with that. There's millions of things you can do with AI. You can make movies, you make books, you can sponsor marketing. There's just so much that you could do. So to answer your question, yes. I mean, obviously too, there's harder routes like streaming. You can get into that. It might be harder now. I would say it was easier during around the 2020 era. Um, yeah, YouTube. But I say current day, AI is your favorite thing. That's your favorite tool now.
Mm. So I think what might help for the audience is what if we do like a live case study real quick because as you know, we're in Knob Studios, and if you don't know, there's also Knob Media that helps clients with all of their marketing needs, how to get your word out there, how to get the product out there. So Christian, let's just say what's something that you're passionate about, and let's maybe talk about one or two ways or three ways that it's low hanging fruit on how you might be able to market that, or do a hypothetical.
I mean,
He's on the
I
spot,
like
by the way, but he's a young person.
I like money. I say at this age, I like money. I got my, like I said, I got my first paycheck, and I was very happy when I saw that, and I was like, I would definitely like to have more. More so too. It There's a lot of fears around money. And I want to make sure that I'm set to where I don't have to worry about that. So I don't know. I'll work to that goal.
All right. Thank you. This is a good point. What about, do you want to take a pizzeria?
Sure.
Like what? How do you grow a pizza business?
Okay, that
Right?
sounds good. Yeah.
So, and what, one of our specialties is, of course, right, community impact, community engagement, and how do you turn the intersection where heart meets hard numbers? So, how do you take that? So, let's say, right, you want to open up a pizzeria and you want to figure out ways to market it, but you don't have a lot of marketing budget, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what are some ways that you can go and help that pizzeria grow and get the word out there?
Create a website. Post videos on social media. I say this a lot. Anything with glasses, meta glasses is really cool. I mean, me personally, I like to see, what you're doing in the kitchen, like with your hands, like how you're making the food. That's always a good thing to post. I'd say social media is your best friend there.
So POV, look, that's a strategy right there from the young people. POV, right? So people want to see more, not just the pizzeria, but how it's made, right?
It could be anything, hands made, really. Anything, setting up, anything, cooking,
Excellent.
construction, painting.
All right. So social media, we're gonna get a POV strategy out there, and as you know, right, sometimes you could take a video on your cell phone, so it doesn't really cost a lot. One of the things I would add, and then definitely want to hear from Justin, is community impact. So how do you leverage if you're a pizzeria? Because sometimes you might be like, well, I have zero marketing budget. Certainly, that may be the case, but depending on where you are, regardless of where you are, there are always community partnership opportunities out there. So I know when I was in high school, we used to have like pizza sales, right, for like the 12th graders. And then the seniors would get a portion of the pizza sales. And that was like a fundraising built in, whether that's PTAs. But if I'm a pizzeria and I'm limited with my time, maybe I find one organization that I'm just like super duper connected to, just one organization. Maybe it's financial literacy, right? Maybe it's maybe it's an organization, Unburied Talent, that talks about financial literacy, and you're passionate because maybe you're a business owner in the pizza space, and whether you might be a younger person or not typically that kind of owner, you may have a story that you want to share. So now all of a sudden, in working in that capacity, oh, you know what? This is like a live blooper. Have you ever like been speaking about something and like right in the middle of it, you just forget where you're going with that?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it happens. So we're talking about community impacts. I think Unburied Talent. That's where I got confused. But let's say, for instance, your financial literacy is important to you. So now you find a local organization, Unburied Talent, Melanin and Muscles, maybe. So these are grassroots, awesome organizations that are really connecting with the people there and have amazing opportunities potentially for sponsorship. And what happens is, you can sponsor in the paper, and that's certainly a valid marketing channel. But as Christian was saying, everyone kind of wants to have that feeling, that organic marketing. So now if you're that pizzeria, maybe you don't have money to necessarily throw in for a sponsorship, but I'm sure there's some either food you can offer. There's another way that you can engage with this audience. They'd be happy because, right, that helps them save money potentially on the cost of the food, or maybe they could become a charity partner. But now all of a sudden, you're not just spending your own money to promote, you're leveraging something you're already doing, which is making pizzas. And now you're able to produce these pieces for this organization and leverage their social media, and specifically Melanin and Muscles. I mean, just a fantastic organization. If you've ever done one of their financial literacy oriented events, very well run. So, I mean, if you're a business owner, that's like a perfect example of an organization. They're going to post afterwards. They're probably going to pull you to the side for an interview. And all these now are digital media impressions that you didn't even have to pay for. So that's just one example of how community impact can help, let's say, a local pizzeria.
And I think we was talking about it earlier, the importance of community, right? So when you do start a business, you want to build a business from the ground up. Like you really want your community involved. Like you said, you throw an event. Look, I got some fresh pizza from whatever the pizza shop name is. But every time there's an event, is this pizza? And people are going to start asking, whose pizza shop is this? Oh, it's Joe's from down the block. They're great. They're excellent. So once the community see you and you're out there doing stuff in the community, word spreads quick. You do one event and your product is there. You do another event and your product is there. People start ask questions. So definitely the use of community and getting involved in the community definitely helps, build your business.
Huge. And just touching on that pizzeria as well as we're finishing up is also too, as an additional step on the community impact side, you can go from sponsoring to actually joining a board of an organization. There's so many organizations out there that need someone with entrepreneurial savvy, that need someone who really knows the nitty gritty of how bills get paid and how marketing gets done. So this particular business owner could go ahead, join a board. Now all of a sudden you're part of a individual group of 5 to 10 people. All of a sudden now you've got a free either focus group or a network there that will want to see you in because there's a lot of camaraderie because you're on that board together. Full disclosure, some boards do have board disclosures. So you do want to think about that as you're going to join a board. But there are so many grassroots organizations that would just be delighted to know that they would have somebody who cares, who's in the community already, that's willing to dedicate their time to help the organization grow. So right there, if you're a business owner, that's probably that's an awesome marketing strategy right there. And definitely. It's one of those beautiful things that's going to feed everything. It's going to make you feel good. If you're a business owner on a grouchy day, you're like, man, bills, this is awful. I can guarantee you go and you support an event and you go and know that you're contributing to a young person or you're helping impact the life or change the trajectory of another person. That will put that bill moment to the side. And oftentimes that's where the business comes out.
So, Rich, you know what a starter pack is?
No, starter pack.
Christian said it earlier. He spent,
a band? Is that what he said, band?
I want to know what the starter pack includes, because I know when I was young, a starter pack of clothes maybe was a pair of Timbs, maybe a fitted and a do-rag or something like that.
Yeah, so my starter pack, I'd say I got a bunch of like calm hoodies. Like this one was a part of it. I got some nice, joggers, a few cargos. I got a couple of nice shoes.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a couple of shoes.
All right, so
starter pack.
Listen, is a suit in a starter pack?
Wow, should have been. I'd say it wasn't in my starter pack because I already have a few suits for myself.
Okay.
Also too, I personally I need to look more into getting suits. I don't really know the pricing range of those. Whereas these, I'm more familiar with the pricing range and the shoes, so that's why.
So for our youth out there who may be teenagers, young adults in college, should a suit be in their starter pack? Should they have a suit, some dress shoes, some slacks, a tie in that starter pack, and why?
I would definitely say yes. You always want to look the part. You know what I'm saying? Looks can go on a long way. It's always, your first impression. You don't want to show up into an interview in these clothes, right? You want to look presentable. You want to look like you know what you're doing. You own the place. You know what I'm saying? You're about your work. I definitely say suit, tie, shirt.
Quarter zip.
Quarter zip. That's a matcha.
The matcha, right?
Matcha.
Quarter zip.
Oh, quarter zips. Yeah, I was always talking about the quarter zips.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, we want to thank everyone as we are just kind of summarizing. And this was kind of just, pulled to the side over here, just have a conversation because that's sometimes, honestly, where the best things happen. We covered some really good things. Our young people, our future leaders of tomorrow. It's no joke out there. It's real serious. But if there's anything that we learned, and thank you, and each of us is going to kind of share like what they learned, and Christian as well. But really, one of the things we kind of heard is you got to action. You got to get out there. If you're home and you're sitting on your bed and hey, there's like a revenue source, or you've spoken to Justin and you've got some kind of trading schedule down, and hey, all right, fine. But if not, get out there. And still, it's good out there. The sun's good for you, but getting out there will just the most amazing opportunities come about because it's a conversation. It's something where you're speaking to someone and they're like, oh, I know this person who's there. And oh my goodness, this is crazy. They just told me that they needed someone. You should call them. And then all of a sudden, like Christian was saying, that's where you're able to get some in your network. And then also too, we covered business case study, which we'll be happy to do if the audience is saying like, hey, you want to do this more. But your local pizzeria, right? Hey, things are times quote unquote could be tough, but how are ways that you can help market your business and grow your business organically via a community oriented approach that maybe don't cost a lot or might even cost a lot less than an extensive ad or supporting something of a higher, bigger function. So, community impact. That is what this is all about. So we'd love for you to tune in for more information like this as well. We definitely want to thank Nam Studios, where we get to have this podcast here, located in Garden City, New York. It is the premier boutique studio on the island, giving our local community a voice, helping individuals to get in contact and share that message. Everyone has a sense of beauty about them. Everyone has a beautiful message to share. And this studio just really wants to be a part of that message to help elevate and get that message out to where it needs to be to grow out to the people. So we definitely want to thank Nam Studios for this podcast here and allowing us to film out of the studio. Justin, please.
Yeah. Shout out to Nam. Save your money, invest, start that LinkedIn at an early age.
Like that's another good one.
So definitely.
Excellent. Christian, what would you sign off and saying to the audience about?
I mean, like literally take all this advice. Marketing very good. Like save your money. When you buy your starter pack, please buy a suit. Yeah, I mean, that's it.
And AP Pizza, where can you find AP Pizza? This is not your business, not his business, but he works there, so
right
he wants to
on
promote.
Huntington Avenue off of Sunrise. It's in Limbrook. It's like a sideways street, kind of, but it's a little hidden. But when you get there, you'll be greeted nicely, treated nicely. You'll eat good.
Absolutely, and they've got all kinds of delicious treats as well. I know that we were able to utilize them to cater Christian's surprise party, so they did a phenomenal job with that. So check them out, AP Pizza in Limbrook. They're also on Instagram, and we want to thank them for everything that they're out there doing in the community. And again, we want to thank our audience for joining us. Hey, a podcast is a real thing. These aren't AI agents speaking. These are real human beings. So we know there was a little bit of I won't say a delay, sometimes with a product or even with a podcast. One of the major components of podcast for us here, for our formula, is having a young person and having a mentee. And that's part of what the slowdown has been. So if you're a young person out there, ages 18 to 25, 26, and you want to either share your message about financial literacy or you want to partner with a professional on a particular subject, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's AI, please reach out to us in the link here so we can get you in touch and we can get you booked on the podcast to be able to connect with some of these amazing professionals and thought leaders that are out there in the community and that would love to also share their knowledge with you. So we want to thank our audience and please check us out once again.